The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever's historic win at the Commissioner's Cup wasn't just a basketball story. It was a seismic moment that shook the very foundation of the WNBA. No one saw it coming. They weren't supposed to win. They weren't even supposed to compete. Their star player, the media darling and rising icon Caitlin Clark, was sidelined with a nagging groin injury. Dana Bonner, a veteran meant to stabilize and lead, had just quit on the team after getting benched. Walking away mid-season, another key contributor, Dantas, was off playing overseas. The Fever were down bodies, down experience, and seemingly down hope. They entered the championship as massive underdogs against a dominant Minnesota Lynx squad led by the MVP frontrunner Nafisa Collier. The arena was packed, the sportsbooks had them losing by double digits, and the basketball world had already written their eulogy. But what unfolded that night changed everything. From the moment they walked into Target Center, the Fever were being dismissed. The narrative wasn't just about them being the underdogs, it was that they didn't belong. The defending Commissioner Cup champions were playing on their home floor. They were stacked, confident, and rolling with a 14-win record. The crowd buzzed with the expectation of an easy win. Analysts had already begun pre-recording their headlines. Lynx, dominate, repeat as champ. The Fever seemed were just the opening act to Minnesota's coronation, but the players wearing Indiana's red and navy had a different idea. This wasn't the same Fever team that had struggled in the previous games without Clark. No longer relying on a single savior to generate offense, the rest of the roster came out with something to prove. Their game wasn't flashy, but it was smart, gritty, and determined. They moved the ball with urgency, played suffocating defense, and hit clutch shots. They didn't just hang with the Lynx. They outworked them, outthought them, and outfought them. It was a kind of performance that turns doubters into believers and redefines a franchise. At the heart of it all was Kelsey Mitchell, stepping confidently into the leadership void left by Clark. From the opening quarter, Mitchell attacked the rim with aggression, spacing the floor with her shooting and never backing down from the challenge. Her ability to create offense both for herself and others set the tone early. Alongside her, Aaliyah Boston finally got the touches she needed to dominate in the paint. After being overlooked and frozen out in recent games, Boston erupted with a powerful double-double, showing poise, control, and leadership under pressure. Her matchup against Collier was supposed to expose her. Instead, she held her ground and delivered. But if there was one name that stole the night, it was Natasha Howard. Her performance wasn't just impressive, it was MVP worthwhile. She dropped 16 points, grabbed 12 rebounds, dished 4 assists, and added 2 steals, all while going a perfect 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Her energy was relentless, her defensive effort unmatched, and her leadership undeniable. Every time Minnesota tried to mount a comeback, Howard answered. Whether it was a critical rebound, a timely steal, or a clutch bucket, she was there. The Commissioner Cup MVP had officially arrived. And she wasn't alone. Sophie Cunningham came off the bench like a spark plug, raining threes and grabbing crucial boards. Her hustle plays ignited the Fever bench and silenced the Minnesota crowd. Lexi Hull chipped in with tough defense and clutch buckets. Newcomer Arie McDonald, in just her first game back, made an immediate impact with her quickness, scoring 12 points and providing that extra gear Indiana desperately needed. 5 players scored in double digits. The entire team, from starters to bench, played with cohesion and purpose. Meanwhile, the Lynx, so dominant all season, looked shell-shocked. Their offense stalled, their defense broke down. They were held to just 39 points over the final 3 quarters and shot a dismal 34.9% from the field. Nafisa Collier, the MVP frontrunner, was disrupted all night, struggling to find her rhythm under relentless pressure from Indiana's defense. Cheryl Reeve, Minnesota's seasoned head coach, admitted after the game, "They just sort of beat us." That one sentence said everything. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a fluke. The Fever simply outplayed them. But the story doesn't end there, because off the court, the most powerful moment came not from a player in uniform, but from one wearing a warm-up suit. Caitlin Clark may have been sidelined, but her presence loomed large over this game. She was fully engaged on the bench, shouting encouragement, clapping for every big play, and staying locked in on every possession. Cameras caught her throughout the night, her face a mixture of focus and pride. She wasn't just watching, she was with them every step of the way. And after the final buzzer, during the euphoric locker room celebration, she uttered 6 words that summed up everything. Everybody in the league is sick. Those 6 words hit like a freight train. In one breath, Clark exposed the resentment that had been bubbling all season, the jealousy from veterans, the underhanded comments, the criticism masked as analysis. She called it out with the kind of boldness that only a true competitor can deliver. Clark didn't need to be on the court to make an impact. Her statement was more than a clapback. It was a warning. The Fever just won without her. Imagine what happens when she's back. The celebration in that locker room wasn't just about a trophy. It was about survival, about unity, about proving the world wrong. Clark used the championship cup as a mock chalice, playfully roasting teammates and reveling in the victory. She called out Michaela Timpson to join the celebration. Every player was smiling, dancing, and soaking in the glory of a win that no one outside their locker room believed possible. They embraced the underdog role. They embraced the adversity, and in doing so, they rewrote the narrative. Even the media had to scramble. ESPN had pre-written a headline declaring a Lynx victory. That headline never made it to air. It had to be replaced. And that tells you everything. This was more than an upset. It was a shakeup, a rewriting of the WNBA's pecking order. The Fever had arrived, and they weren't going away. Coach Stephanie White summed it up perfectly. This was a gut check experience, mentally, physically, psychologically, but her players stepped up. They stayed connected. They bought into the system, into one another, into the moment. They didn't let the pressure break them. They used it to rise. It wasn't just about basketball. It was about what happens when a team finds itself in the fire and chooses to fight instead of fold. It was about rediscovering identity, belief, and execution when the world expected collapse. It was about proving that heart still matters in professional sports, that chemistry isn't just a stat, that toughness isn't measured on paper, that you don't win championships with predictions, you win them with grit. So yes, the Indiana Fever now hold the Commissioner Cup, but more importantly, they hold something far greater, belief. And next time Caitlin Clark steps back on that court, she'll be leading a team that knows exactly how to win without her. That kind of confidence, that kind of depth, it makes them dangerous, it makes them contenders, it makes them a problem for every other team in the league. The Fever didn't just win a game, they sent a message. And the rest of the WNBA heard it loud and clear. If you've got the Fever, let us know in the comments. Do you think the Indiana Fever are now title favorites with Caitlin Clark returning soon? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's next. The story isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started.